Ellie brings out a whole baked cake and lifts a slice to Rim's mouth.
I can't do it alone anymore. Please help me.
With pleasure, open your mouth. Relax, big girl. Good morning, big girl. Time to continue where we left off. There's still so much.
Rim is far too exhausted to resist or protest. She sinks back into the pillow as Ellie feeds her again. Her belly is packed to the limit, and she winces repeatedly from the pressure. Ellie continues feeding her happily, rubbing her stomach constantly as Rim lies there, overwhelmed. This becomes Rim's entire existence, lying in the same bed, surrounded by food being fed endlessly. Rim wakes up shivering in the cold. She opens her eyes and looks around. To her left and right there is nothing but white, endless snow. Tiny flakes drift down and land softly on her face, and above them stretches a perfectly clear blue sky. Instinctively, she knows something is wrong. She doesn't remember how she got here, she doesn't remember anything at all. She slowly sits up and scans the land. Frozen mountains rise in the distance, and far away she spots a few small wooden houses nestled against the snow. It's the first time she has ever seen snow in her life. The cold bites into her immediately. While she can swim in boiling water and walk across a desert, she isn't built for this kind of cold climate, so she's shaking uncontrollably. Her tactical armor offers almost no insulation, and what remains of it is badly torn and damaged. Still, the sight of the houses gives her a simple thought: something there might be warm. She gets to her feet and starts walking toward them. Along the way, she scoops up a handful of snow and bites into it out of curiosity. It's painfully cold, but it melts in her mouth. She takes a tentative sip and realizes it's just water. Realization confuses her, but she remembers Nash explaining that frozen water is still safe to drink.
Right, it all comes back. The water makes sense. Thanks, Nash.
Strangely enough, the snow is fun. Something deep inside her urges her to jump, to dive straight into it. She does once, then again, laughing quietly to herself as she sinks into the powder. But the joy fades quickly as the cold seeps deeper into her body. Each jump leaves her shivering worse than before.
Oh, that was fun, but everything is starting to sting now.
Reluctantly, she stops and continues forward more carefully. As she walks, she looks down at herself and realizes how much she's burned through. Most of her fat reserves are gone, used up somehow, and what little remains is nowhere near what she's used to carrying. Her armor is torn even worse than she thought. Evidence that whatever happened before she woke up demanded a tremendous amount of energy. She doesn't know where she is, she doesn't know how she got here. All she knows is that she's cold, alone, and heading toward the only sign of warmth she can see. As she cautiously approaches one of the buildings, a voice suddenly calls out to her from the side.
Hello there, how are you doing, Rim?
Rim turns immediately, startled. She's certain the person wasn't there a moment ago. She had been watching her surroundings the entire time as she approached the house. Yet standing there now is a figure dressed in a bright red outfit, with pink hair and vivid purple eyes. The colors stand out sharply against the endless white snow.
Hello there, sorry, but who?
Would you like to come inside? You can warm up and get something to eat. It's much nicer than standing out here.
Rim is confused. She doesn't recognize this person at all, but they know her name. Still, Rim simply nods, ears twitching slightly.
If you know me, then sure. Going inside sounds nice, thank you. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name at all.
The answer comes after a moment of Rim's hesitation.
I'm Ellie, don't worry, I'm your friend. You don't need to think too hard right now. Let's just get you comfortable.
They walk together toward the cottage. Before Rim steps fully inside, Ellie gently brushes the snow from her armor and long hair. The house itself is a small wooden cabin, and the moment Rim crosses the threshold, warmth envelops her. The contrast to the biting cold outside is immediate and almost overwhelming.
Here, take this blanket and dry off. Go sit down in one of the rooms and warm yourself. I'll make something nice to eat.
Ellie disappears into another room and Rim follows the instructions. She settles into a wooden chair next to a small table. The chair is sturdy, slightly worn, and pleasantly warm from the ambient heat of the house. The table squeaks faintly when she rests her hand on it. Everything here feels intentionally comforting, so different from the cold, utilitarian metal furniture she's used to in Imperial or Republic machines. As she sits there, Rim becomes acutely aware of the atmosphere. The house is quiet and peaceful, almost inviting her to close her eyes and rest. She realizes just how exhausted she is. Not just cold, but deeply tired, as if she'd been fighting for a long time before ending up here. The thoughts drift. She wonders where Nash is, where Cal went, where Rainbot might be. Even Sam crosses her mind, though she assumes he's probably still on his hill. But where is that hill now? Where is the desert? Where is anything she knows? And how did she end up in the snow? Before the questions can overwhelm her, a rich, incredible smell fills the air. Ellie is coming back. She enters the room carrying food, but not rations, not scavenged meat, and not anything Rim is used to eating in the wasteland. What Ellie sets down is a beautifully prepared meal: warm bread, perfectly cooked meat, vegetables, and side dishes arranged with care. Real food. A home-cooked meal that feels impossibly out of place on a planet scarred by nuclear fire. And yet, here it is, waiting for her. Rim is just about to ask everything, where they are, what happened to Nash and Cal, how she ended up here, and who Ellie even is. But the moment Ellie sets the large tray of food down in front of her, every coherent thought evaporates.
What is this? Rim is getting dizzy just from the smell.
It's just bread, silly. Come on, give it a bite.
The instant Rim bites into it, she freezes. This isn't bread as she knows it. It's too soft, too warm, nothing like the dry, rock-hard rations she's used to. Bread tough enough to knock someone out if thrown hard enough. This is real bread, freshly baked only minutes ago. The taste nearly brings her to tears.
How can it be so soft and so crunchy at the same time? It is magical.
She slows down, suddenly aware of the tray in front of her, breathing in the aroma and taking careful bites of everything laid out before her. Every flavor is overwhelming in the best possible way. It's the best food she has ever eaten in her life. The only things that even come close are the rare sweet bunker rations she once found, or the mutant corn Sam had carefully grown, and even those pale in comparison. Meat is perfect. Perfectly seasoned, though Rim doesn't even really know what seasoning is, only that it tastes impossibly good. It's tender and juicy, nothing like the tough, gamey mutants she's used to chewing through. Even dragon meat, which she considers soft by comparison, usually needs hours of cooking to reach anything like this. This meat feels like it was simply cooked the right way and needed nothing else. He's completely captivated. Between bites, she glances up at Ellie, who sits across from her in a chair, smiling warmly. Ellie isn't eating anything at all. She just watches Rim with quiet satisfaction.
You must have been very cold, and you look hurt. Go on, eat as much as you want. There's plenty more where that came from.
Rim doesn't hesitate for a second. She nods eagerly and starts eating faster, taking larger bites now, no longer even pretending to pace herself.
I'll bring more. A hungry girl like you clearly needs it.
For a brief moment, Rim pauses and looks at Ellie, a strange feeling tugging at her. Ellie definitely knows her well, but Rim still can't remember her at all. Feeling is unsettling, almost wrong, but the food is too good. He pushes the thought aside and keeps eating, savoring every bite even as she devours everything in front of her, unable to slow down no matter how much she wants to. Rim finishes everything in front of her far too quickly. When she realizes the tray is empty, she almost feels sad about it. It was a lot of food, easily enough to feed a normal person for an entire day. Part of her assumes Ellie must have noticed how exhausted and hungry she was, and prepared exactly what she needed to get through the day. She leans back in her chair, warm and heavy, remembering that Ellie had just mentioned bringing more. As if on cue, Rim looks toward the open doorway and sees Ellie returning, carrying the same large tray again. Then Ellie turns the corner and Rim's eyes go wide. Ellie is holding another identical tray in her other hand. He sets both of them down in front of Rim and smiles.
As I said, eat up, big girl. I know you want to.
But do you not want any of it for yourself?
Oh no, I would never get in the way like that. Please go ahead, it's all for you.
Rim looks up at her, about to ask anything, but the words never come. She just nods.
Thank you for showing Rim such kindness.
He starts eating again, faster than before. Her stomach is already swollen from the first meal, but she doesn't slow down. Instead, she pushes herself harder, her biological reactor kicking in as her body switches to its inhuman digestion mode. Any sense of full has long since passed. She moves straight into the second tray, then the third, shoveling food into herself without pause. Her stomach begins to churn audibly, low gurgles and deep, rolling sounds echoing inside her as her guts struggle to process the sheer volume of food. When she finally pauses for breath, resting her hands on her bloated belly, she looks up at Ellie.
How can anyone cook like this? Where did all this food come from? How did you get it? Can I have more?
Ellie just smiles, with her now signature smirk.
I have a very good friend who does the cooking. You can call him Santa. If you want anything to eat, Santa will make it for you, and I'll always be here to serve it to you. You're precious here, Rim. When you're in my house, you get exactly what you want.
Rim swallows another mouthful.
This is the best food I've ever tasted. Thanks Santa for me.
It's a special gift, made just for you.
Rim still doesn't understand what's happening, but the more she eats, the less she cares. Her belly swells further, pressing against the edge of the table until she has to shove her chair back just to keep going. Her digestive system works as fast as it can, but she's outpacing even that now, pushing her mutant biology far beyond anything reasonable. She slows only briefly when speaking to Ellie, then dives back in again, unable to stop. Ellie watches the entire time, content and unblinking.
Rim almost finished everything. Are you sure you don't want at least something? Rim is starting to feel bad.
Don't worry about me at all, as I said this is all for you. I just love watching you eat, Rim, so eat as much as you want. I'll be right here.
As Rim finishes the third tray, the exhaustion hits her all at once. She stares blankly out the window as snow drifts down in slow, quiet sheets, piling higher and higher outside. Her hands move absent-mindedly over her massively bloated stomach, which is making all kinds of deep, rolling noises, an entire orchestra of churning, gurgling organs working furiously inside her. Sleep pulls at her without warning, Her body slumps and she slowly starts sliding out of the chair. She would have hit the floor if not for Ellie catching her arms, though her stomach hits the table first, stopping her halfway since it can't fit beneath it anymore. Ellie gently steadies her and guides her toward a neatly made white bed. Rim barely registers what's happening. Ellie helps her out of her damaged armor, dresses her in soft red pajamas, and lays her down carefully. With the last of her fading strength, Rim shifts her head onto the pillow. Ellie tucks her in, pulling the sheets snugly over her. Warm, full, and utterly content, Rim smiles faintly and falls asleep almost instantly. Ellie slips quietly out of the room and closes the door without a sound.
Good night, Rim. May your dreams be as sweet as your future.
ZZZ, burp, ZZZ, burp. Thanks, Ellie, burp, ZZZ.
Night passes as Rim's body works tirelessly, processing the enormous amount of food and repairing whatever damage had been done before she arrived. The morning comes and sunlight spills across the snow. Rim wakes up refreshed. She looks out the window and sees that the snowfall has stopped. Feeling energetic, she leaps straight out the window to check the snow. Her new curves collide with the frame on the way out, and she drops into the snow below, leaving a deep, wide imprint. She pushes herself upright, her ears poking up first, and starts hopping around again, bounding through the snow with excitement. As she moves around the front of the little house, she catches sight of Ellie watching her. Rim jumps a few more times, then lands beside her and wraps her in a hug. Ellie hugs her back.
Thank you for the food and for letting me sleep here. I need to go now. I have to find my friends.
Of course, but wouldn't you like to see what Santa has cooked today?
Rim hesitates and looks toward the horizon. She doesn't know where she is or how far she'd need to travel. She knows she's making excuses, but she follows Ellie back inside anyway.
Oh, okay, I should really eat something for the road.
Whatever you say, big girl.
The moment she steps in, she notices the table is bigger than before. It isn't holding a tray, it's holding an entire feast. But above the table, she notices a red camera finally.
Is that you, Cal, or maybe Sam?
No, that's Santa, well, his camera.
I'm glad you enjoy my cooking. I've prepared plenty more for you.
You're the best cook on the planet. Where does all this food come from?
That's my little secret. All you need to do is ask for more and
Okay, thank you. Santa, you can go away now, so we can enjoy the meal.
I'll be ready whenever you call me. Have fun, you too.
The food is staggering in scale, enough to feed an army. Rim sits down, completely hidden behind mountains of food, and begins to eat. Going for the tasty pastries first, then the tower of golden brown meat quickly filling up her stomach with heavy energy-dense food. Slowly, the piles shrink until Ellie's smiling face reappears across the table, her unblinking purple eyes constantly watching her. Rim just keeps eating, pushing her belly outwards, making it churn even louder. Rim eats everything. When the table is empty, Ellie comes over and gently rubs Rim's massively distended stomach as it groans beneath her touch.
You're so warm and so soft.
It's a lot, even I don't usually eat this much. Rim is completely full, can't fit another bite.
Of course more can fit. It just needs to be sweet enough for you, big girl.
Ellie brings out a whole baked cake and lifts a slice to Rim's mouth.
Rim wants the sweet thing, yes please.
The smell alone makes her bite down. It's perfect. She chews it slowly and pushes it down hard, and now she is looking to the rest of it. But Rim is too tired from her already massive feast to reach for more.
I can't do it alone anymore. Please help me.
With pleasure, open your mouth. Relax, big girl.
Ellie feeds her piece after piece, letting her breathe between bites as Rim chews and swallows. Ellie keeps feeding her patiently until the cake is gone. Before sleep can fully claim Rim, Ellie quickly moves in and lifts her massive stomach up and back, urging her to stay awake just a little longer.
Don't fall asleep yet. We still need to get you into bed. I can't carry you like this. You have to help me.
Rim is so heavy, that sweet stuff, it was too much. It's so heavy.
Rim blinks sluggishly, meets Ellie's gaze and nods once. She engages her powerful legs, creating a faint gravitational distortion to make lifting herself easier.
Here we go, one step at a time. Well, one waddle at a time.
With Ellie's support, she manages to stand, takes a few heavy steps, and then collapses into the bed. The bed nearly gives out beneath her weight, groaning loudly, but somehow it survives. As Rim lands, her impossibly stuffed stomach sways from side to side. Ellie carefully lifts her legs and settles them onto the mattress, then slides a pillow beneath her head. Rim's belly juts upward dramatically, nearly a meter high, higher than the bed itself. Ellie pauses for a moment and gently rubs Rim's stomach to help with digestion. The instant she does, Rim slips into sleep, letting out a few soft burps and low groans.
There, big girl. Calm down, just focus on digesting and prepare for tomorrow.
You all burp, zzz, zzz, burp.
Ellie continues rubbing, easing the pressure and trapped gases as Rim's overworked stomach churns steadily beneath her touch. Ellie smiles broadly as she looks down at the enormous, rising belly and the fox beneath it, growing softer and heavier with every passing moment. And she's satisfied, she pulls the bedsheets up over Rim, gives her stomach one last gentle rub, and quietly leaves the room. As Ellie steps away, Rim's sensitive ears faintly catch a conversation between Ellie and Santa. She's too full and blissful to focus, but the words drift in anyway.
Remember the rules. Rim must be here of her own free will. She cannot be kept. If she wants to leave even once, you must let her go.
Of course, the deal is the same as always, but I doubt she'll ever want to leave.
If staying is her choice, everything is within protocol. But if she refuses even once, she leaves immediately.
I understand, she isn't a prisoner. If she asks to go, she'll be allowed to go.
Good, then you are free to do as you like.
And you need to continue cooking, prepare everything for tomorrow.
Rim, far too full to care about any of it, sleeps on in perfect bliss. Night passes with groans and burps. Rim wakes slowly. This time, she barely glances out the window, only noting the peaceful snowfall beyond the glass before her attention drifts downward to her own body. Last night's feast has left a dramatic mark. Her form is truly massive now, spread across the entire bed, fat folds resting heavily against one another. She is wider and thicker than she has been in a very long time. Unlike before, she doesn't spring up with energy. She simply lies there, realizing that even her adapted metabolism couldn't fully process everything she ate. Worked tirelessly through the night and is still digesting now. The effort has left her deeply tired.
Ooh, Rim does not even remember the last time she was this big. Santa's food is just too delicious and Ellie is just too kind.
Eventually, she pushes herself upright, the sheets sliding away to reveal her enormous shape wrapped in soft pajamas. As she looks around the room, something feels different. The large table from before is gone. In its place are several large tables arranged throughout the room, and in the center stands a much wider, sturdier chair. She rises carefully, peeks once more at the snow outside, and decides against going anywhere. Instead, she settles into the oversized chair in the middle of the room. A polite knock follows.
Good morning, I hope you slept well. Are you ready for another great meal? Santa prepared all his specialties.
Ellie enters, pushing a three-tiered cart stacked with trays of food. Scents hit Rim immediately, rich, fatty dishes, salty meats, cakes, pastries, an overwhelming mix. Rim's stomach growls in response, even though it's nowhere near empty.
So Ellie, thank you for everything, but
She knows Ellie doesn't care how full she already is, food will keep coming regardless. So Rim does not even end up finishing that. Ellie begins setting trays across the tables, stacking them high.
Go ahead and start, I'll fetch the rest.
That sentence alone makes Rim uneasy. Still, she reaches for the nearest plate and begins eating. As delicious as everything is, her body finally sends clear signals, stronger this time, that she should stop. She doesn't need any more energy. Her stomach continues to swell outward, but the food tastes too good. The fullness itself has become addictive. By the time Ellie returns, Rim is still working through the first spread, yet her belly is already enormously distended.
You're behind schedule. Time to pick up the pace, big girl. I'll help you out.
Rim hesitates only briefly.
everything is incredible. I want to taste it all. Please feed me.
She lowers her arms in surrender.
I'll gladly feed you any time, big girl.
Ellie lifts a piece of meat to Rim's mouth. Rim accepts it, chewing and swallowing. Before she can catch her breath, another bite follows, then another. Ellie doesn't stop. Food grows denser and richer, pushing Rim far past anything she's ever experienced. Rim struggles to keep up. Her belly presses hard against the tables, then spreads across one of them entirely. Ellie occasionally rubs her stomach, easing the pressure and coaxing out a burp before continuing. Rim keeps swallowing, lost in the taste and the overwhelming fullness. The stomach grows to dominate the room as the reinforced chair creaks beneath her weight. Whatever mind designed Rim's mutant biology never anticipated this, but Ellie clearly did. She knows exactly how far Rim can be pushed, and she keeps pushing. The feast doesn't end. The entire day passes like this. Ellie feeds Rim almost continuously, only stopping when she herself grows tired and needs to rest. Those brief pauses are the only moments Rim's body gets any time to truly digest anything. Sometimes Rim dozes off, slipping into shallow naps. She knows the pattern by now. The moment she wakes, the feeding will continue. The relentless day of feeding finally comes to an end, and somehow Ellie manages to roll Rim back onto the bed. Rim is visibly struggling now, her body strained by the sheer amount of food packed inside her. Ellie gently rubs her stomach as Rim slips into sleep, a pained expression lingering on her face. There isn't even a blanket large enough to cover her properly anymore, so Ellie does the best she can and lets her rest. Next morning, Rim doesn't even open her eyes at first. She smells food everywhere, on the bed, in the room, filling the air so completely that it's impossible to ignore. She finally opens her eyes. All she can see is her own enormous belly. She hasn't managed to digest much of anything. Her body is now as wide as the bed itself, fat spreading across the mattress and drooping toward the floor. She has become a massive monument to excess, the result of letting Ellie feed her without restraint for an entire day. Her stomach is still full of yesterday's feast, even though her biological reactor has been running at full power the entire time. Heat radiates from her body, warming the room noticeably. As she looks around, she sees Ellie approaching again, already holding a thick, cheesy, calorie-dense slice of food.
Good morning, big girl. Time to continue where we left off. There's still so much food left.
Rim is far too exhausted to resist or protest. She sinks back into the pillow as Ellie feeds her again. Her belly is packed to the limit, and she winces repeatedly from the pressure. Ellie continues feeding her happily, rubbing her stomach constantly as Rim lies there, overwhelmed. This becomes Rim's entire existence. lying in the same bed, surrounded by food being fed endlessly. Somewhere in the haze, she thinks it could be worse. At least she isn't hungry. As the day drags on, a distant cracking sound echoes, followed by something like an explosion. Through the window, a massive fracture spreads across the sky itself. Ellie's eyes widen as she realizes what it is. A crack in the artificial sky. Rim is too full, too exhausted, and too heavy to react. She simply lays her head back. Then the false sky tears open completely. Through the shattered illusion of mountains and snow, the Mercy bursts through, destroying the artificial dome. Fake sky glitches and peels away, revealing the wasteland and desert beyond.
Rim, where are you? Cal, find the exact location of her bioreactor signal.
Mercy extends its drill arms, tearing a massive hole in the structure as it forces its way inside.
Hi Nash, Rim is right here.
Nash's sensors pick up the weak voice immediately.
Voice confirmed, visual contact established. Rim is inside the structure.
Well, Rim, looks like time is up. But don't worry, I have a feeling you will find me again.
Mercy churns forward, ripping a huge opening in the wall with one of its drills.
Rim, what did they do to you? This is horrible. This is a crime. They must have drugged you.
Thank you for saving Rim from her terrible fate. Rim was forced to enjoy all of this amazing food. Yeah, Rim was totally drugged. There's no possible way Rim could have just kicked the wall down or cut the entire building in half, haha.
Rim says in the most sarcastic way possible.
I suddenly feel bad for rescuing you.
Rim looks around for Ellie, but she's gone. There's no response from Santa either. Rim doesn't mention it.
Extending crane. Rim is unable to mobilize under her own power.
Rim feels a flicker of sadness at the sudden end of the feeding, but she's genuinely happy to see her friends again. The crane strains under her weight but eventually lifts her, lowering her into the cargo hold. Even then, she barely fits. Equipment is moved aside and her usual corner is no longer usable. Rim ends up settled in the center of the cargo bay, where she'll have to stay until her body can finally process everything she's been given. Hey, Merry Christmas everyone, hope you liked the ROG special episode. This time I will be posting the image and some extra cutscenes on DeviantArt of all things again, as in too fat just like the Patreon, so check it out if you are interested. Thank you to the supporters. Zephiel, Cornchip, Anarchy, D-Boy, Wiggins, Oz, Justai, Alex, Glitch, Kevin, Luigi, Lewis, Fen, Belly Lover, Error, and Bill.